This is your host, Carmen Radford, welcoming you back to another episode of the Calm and Chaos podcast, the space where we discuss motherhood, well-being, and just balancing it all. We cover loads of topics here, so I hope you can find some connection. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Calm and Chaos. I am doing this one because I was on a run, I think like 4 days ago. I hadn't slept very well, and sleep deprivation is just always on the forefront of my mind because the way you feel every day is so based on how you've slept. And when you're a parent and you have been sleep deprived for a day, weeks, years now, it's really tough. And I find that it really affects my motivation to do things for myself, mostly for the self-care aspect of things. And yeah, so the other day it was actually sunny out, and that does make me feel generally better. If the sun is out, I feel more productive and everything, but I was feeling really tired, and a day off is good, and in whatever way you work that in, if it's like your once a week day off, or like for my 12-year-old dog, she really clearly tells me now when she wants a day off of a walk, and she's listening to her body. Honestly, I listen to Evie a lot. She's been with me 12 years. That's a really long time. She's been the closest being to me for 12 years, realistically, because we've just been together all the time. Anyway, I was feeling really tired and unmotivated, and I had stuff to do, and I was getting things done-ish. But I know I always feel better after some exercise, proper exercise, not just motoring around the house. And our puppy, our 1.5-year-old lab, who's this big giant hug, and he's full of beans in the morning, and he can be pretty calm for the rest of the day if he's gets that burst of energy out. But it was kind of like midday, and I thought, okay, well, I have options. I can just rest, that's fine. But in this occasion, I thought, no, I'll feel a bit better if I go for a run. And so yeah, got ready quickly, got out for the run, jogging in the sunshine, and it was really nice. And I thought, okay, I actually do feel a bit better already. Getting some fresh air, my body was feeling pretty good jogging. And so I'm jogging, and I usually do listen to something like a podcast or music on a run, just in one ear, and I listen to the dog in the other ear, in case they need anything. But anyway, so I'm running, and I just thought I'm just gonna listen to my own thoughts and just let myself relax and let thoughts flow and whatever. And I'm jogging, and I'm kind of trying to motivate myself, saying, "You're doing well. You're doing well. You got out. You're still jogging." And then this other jogger or runner blew by me, and I had this like quick instant where I thought, oh, I'm not running like that yet. Why am I not running like that yet? And then immediately after that split second thought, I was like, why are you thinking that way? Like, that's so demotivating. And immediately I just shifted my train of thought, and I was like, you're sleep deprived, and that always makes you feel more negative. And I just thought, nope, I'm not listening to that today. And so I was like, you're out, you're running, you're jogging, you're doing well. You've got the dog out. It's a nice day. It's not going to be a long run today. Whatever. See how you feel when you get back. But don't be demotivated because someone else is at a different pace. Of course, they're at a different pace. I'm going to go at my own pace. That's okay. And I had just that week, like a couple days earlier, talked to a friend, and they invited me to do a marathon in the spring. And I've always wanted to do a marathon. It's like one of those things, like bucket list things. And every year that goes by, I'm like, wow, why didn't I do it? And every year I have a reason why not. And, for the first few years after having children, everything in my life really revolved around the kiddos, which it does for a lot of us. And running just isn't one of those things I would fit in, so far as like long distance running doesn't come very easily to me. I was like a sprinter. I played lots of sports, and that's endurance, but it's not the same kind. And I just thought, well, now I'm at a place where I can fit it in if I want to fit it in. And that's giving me motivation. It's like some, I can check in with this friend and we can motivate each other. And I feel like once you start committing to something, then that gives me motivation as well. So I have to just get my head into it and get motivated and just do it. And the same thing with going to the gym. I keep telling myself, oh, I can do it at home and I'll do it a couple days. And then I don't. And then same thing, a friend said, invited me to their gym. And so I, worked out there for quite a while and I'm planning to go back. I took the summer off because it was too hectic with just family things, and that's where I wanted to prioritize it, and that's fine. That was a break. Like I said, we take breaks, don't we? So anyway, then I was thinking about, why am I so unmotivated for this long distance running? And I walk the dogs every day and I like intermittent run and stuff when I feel like it. But to actually pour myself into becoming a better runner, what's that stopping me? And then I was looking back, and I really think a big part of it was that I was on sports teams for such a long time that exercise was just part of my day every day. And I never thought about it like I'm doing this to get exercise. And that was years and years and years. I played soccer or football until I was 27. And I even coached a lot of different sports through the years, starting when I was pretty young. And I started football or soccer. I don't know which one to pick anymore. When I was 5, and I did dance before that, and then I picked up softball really competitively as well, and played volleyball for a bit. Played basketball through high school and really competitively again, and I loved it. And that was my stretching, that was my exercise, and that was a huge part of my social network as well. And so I think when that abruptly stops, you're not told, well, you're not going to do this your whole life, when you're in high school and that's part of your daily life. And then suddenly that just abruptly stops. And I think that affects your self-esteem when you don't have those inputs coming in, those support networks around you, and a bunch of different activities where you can glean self-esteem from. If your school day doesn't go well, but you've had a good day at basketball. Okay, great. Like at least you've gotten some kind of positivity in your day, and you can deal with the negativity better. And I was listening to a podcast. This is probably a couple of years ago now. I should look up the episode and the podcast, because it was talking about how self-esteem, especially in children, like if you're a parent and you're thinking about how to cultivate self-esteem in your child, if they have a number of different places where they can draw from and where self-esteem just can be cultivated more. So like I said, they gave examples of, if it's a bad day here, but it's a good day here, or if there's bits from different groups. And that really stuck with me. And I think that's why I enjoyed that time in my life so much, because I did have so many different social groups, and that broadened things, and that gave me experience in a lot of different activities, and, forming relationships with so many different people. So I felt like coming on and talking about it, because I just feel like, especially, and back to the sleep deprivation, every time, you go a few days and you feel so sleep deprived, you don't feel like working out or running or even, doing this or whatever it is. Like you can just tell that you're not operating the way that you want to, because you physically can't. And so then you mentally can't. And that's really demotivating. And so I really have tried to prioritize sleep better. My kids are sleeping better now, and of course that helps. And so, yeah, I am really trying to have those like earlier nights, proper, sleep habits before you go to sleep if I can. If not, it is just like a quick show or reading or whatever it is to just kind of calm the mind. And yeah, I just feel like every aspect of life is better when I've had a good sleep. And it's rough when that's a hard thing to achieve, as a parent, or not as a parent. Sometimes it's just sleep is, it's just really tricky. And we don't talk about sleep very much. We don't learn about sleep very much. I never learned about sleep in school. It's probably an anecdote that sleep is really important. But we sleep for like half of our lives. It's nuts, and we don't know much about it. And dreaming and things. Imagine if you could I have really nice dreams all the time and wake up really refreshed. Anyways, when I was on my run, I thought, what would I be telling a friend if they were trying to feel motivated? And what would I be telling my kids if they ask me, how do you stay motivated when you've maybe set a goal or when you want to try something new? And it's, I'm so hard on myself, and so many of us are so hard on ourselves. Like, set a goal and achieve it. Set a goal, achieve it. It's not that simple. And there's so many human emotions that we deal with every day. And there's so many daily things on our to-do list, and there's so many demands. And I know I'm so much gentler with my advice to my kids and my friends. And it's another one of those self-care. Let's be more gentle with ourselves. We'll ultimately feel better. We'll ultimately be better for our kids and our friends and everyone in our lives. And I have to keep reminding myself. And that's the other thing, is you're almost against yourself. You have to keep reminding yourself these things. Slow down. Tap into that higher awareness, that self-awareness, social awareness. Tap into feeling centered so that you can know how you feel, plan your activities around that, know where you can push yourself more and where you need to pull back a little bit to feel as balanced as we can, because every day it's going to be that push and pull of trying to feel balance. And then you add hormones and all the fun things on top of that. And so if we can just sit back a little bit in our awareness, and this is what I'm learning a lot about in this audiobook I've shared, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And this author talks about that higher awareness and how it's constantly battling the ego in us, and how, self-talk can become so negative. But if we have that higher awareness, we'll be aware of how that negative self-talk doesn't need to be that. And actually, let's replace that with this awareness, with this kind and gentle self that we can be. And it's a lot. I've been painting the interior of the house, and I've been listening to this book. And like I've posted, I'm going to have to listen to it a few more times, because every sentence, every paragraph is, you literally need to be, I literally feel like I need to be really aware and listen to it, conceptualize, and yeah. But I am really glad I'm listening to it. It's probably been really therapeutic, because when I'm painting, I need something still stimulating. Listening to an audiobook or a podcast or singing along to music, any of these things. But it actually has been really calming. So that's just a little bit of my ramblings today. On my run, I just thought I just need to sit down and share some of these things. I hope they resonate. If anyone has any thoughts like this, like, how are you gentle to yourself? How do you practice kindness to yourself? And then how does that impact the rest of your relationships? I feel like this is just a constant thing to be aware of. So that's that. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.